So you've probably heard about the importance of doing a vocal warm-up if you're a singer in particular, but also for a speaker if you have high vocal demands. But today I want to talk about cool downs because it's something that I don't think gets discussed enough, and I want to share with you why I think they're so important, and also some simple cool downs you can do at the end of the day, regardless of whether you're a singer or a speaker. So in the same way that stretching our body after a big physical workout helps to reduce injury, actually doing a cool down, a voice cool down, is really going to help your voice and prevent vocal problems in the future. Now, high vocal demands could be, singing at high volume or high intensity, or it could be a speaker if you're speaking for hours every day, or you perhaps are talking over loud music if you're, say, working a gym, or you're in a classroom and you're talking over a lot of noisy kids. So that can all be considered high vocal demands. Now remember that whether we're singing or speaking, we're working muscles to produce voice, to produce sound, as a complex series of muscles. And so muscles are designed to contract and relax. And if the neural network that fires that muscle does not get a clear message to switch off, it's going to stay switched on. And it may well stay in work mode and continue to overexert even after you've done the particular activity or task. Now this can cause problems, particularly the following day and into the future. So if you are, for example, have a series of big meetings throughout a week and you're speaking for hours each day, you may find by the time you get to sort of day 3 or 4 that your voice is starting to really not function as well as it could, and you might start to feel quite fatigued. So cool downs are really going to help keep your voice functioning at its optimal level all the way through the week, for example. So there's 2 main reasons why we would do a cool down. So first of all, it's to release any unnecessary physical tension which we may have created and built up throughout the day. Secondly, it's to re-establish normal levels of pressure in the voice. So we're really resetting and rebalancing the voice at the end of the day, so it's ready for the following day of voice work. And I just want to point out too that optimal voice use isn't just about getting through a presentation or meeting or rehearsal or concert or whatever it is you're doing. It's really about how you use your voice in between, which is going to really dictate how effective and responsive your voice is when you do want to put it into a higher demanding situation. So we're going to look at this cool down in 4 sections, and just to say, you can spend as little or as long as you like on each of these sections. If you feel like you need more time, please spend more time. If you don't feel like you really need much time in a particular section, then just move on to the next section. So you can take as much or as little of this as you want. So the first section is a body scan, because often when we are using our voice and recruiting muscle, often that's got nothing to do with voice production, we don't even know we're holding tension. So it could be, for example, we're tensing through our neck or our shoulders or our upper chest. So we're just going to do a scan first of all, so you can sort of start to pay attention to what is actually tense and what you can start to release. So I'd like you to close your eyes and put your hands on your belly. And then you're just going to take some slow, deep belly breaths. So allow the belly to swell into your hands as you breathe in through your nose. And then as you breathe out through your nose, allow the belly to gently pull in. So we're in this really nice calming cyclical movement. So you're breathing in and out through your nose, because nasal breathing does help to calm our nervous system. So we're also getting the belly moving. We're putting the focus of the breathing into the belly to take away any unnecessary tension around the chest, the neck, the shoulders. Now, while you're doing that, I want you to do a little bit of a scan as you do this. So I'm suggesting 5 deep breaths, but you might want to spend longer. So I'd like you to just shut your eyes and allow the tension to melt away as you focus on the neck, the shoulders, the upper chest, the jaw, the tongue, that holds a lot of tension for many of us, the lips, and the throat. So just start to bring awareness and attention to those body parts and just breathe into it. So just do your own mental scan of your body. We're just doing the top half. I mean, you can do your whole body if you like, but for the purposes of this, we're just going to do the top. So as I say, spend as long or as little as you want on that, but just start to pay attention to where do I hold tension? You know, what could I release? The next part is an upper body release. So that was a body scan or an upper body scan. So an upper body release. So we're going to just roll our shoulders first of all and go in both directions. So maybe do 5 in each direction. And then I'd also like you to shake your hands. We know that there's a link between hand tension and voice tension. So it sounds a bit crazy, but actually this can help relieve some tension in the voice. And then some simple neck stretches. So you're going to put we'll start with the left hand on your right ear and just pull your head gently down. And you're going to put some pressure from the left hand on the right ear, but you're also going to put some pressure in the other direction. So the head is also pushing into the hand. And then you're going to hold that for 5 seconds and then release. And then do the same. And repeat this 4 times on each side. Now, what happens when we actually bring that sort of reverse pressure? Because what people tend to do is they just tend to pull the head down in that direction. But actually when we kind of resist the pressure, it enables us to actually get a deeper stretch. So try this 4 times. So you're resisting the stretch, releasing, and then resisting the stretch, and hold it for about 5 seconds each time and then release. And then you can do it on the other side. And this side is so much tighter for me. So again, resist the stretch for 5 seconds and then release, and then resist the stretch and release. And again, you can do more than 4. You can do as many of these as you like. You can hold it for longer, but do at least 4 on each side, just so you start to sort of feel a bit of a release around the sides of the neck. The other thing you can do with this is actually bring the chin down. So it's almost like you're looking under your armpits, and do the same thing. And that's actually a really nice thing to do. Again, it depends on how much time you have. So another stretch I really like is the platysma stretch. And the platysma really covers this whole area here. So lies on top of the throat and the larynx. So what you're going to do is just put your hands on your sort of collarbone here and press down, and then lift your chin up. And you'll feel an amazing stretch down the front. I can literally live there all day. It really is a beautiful stretch. So again, try and hold it for at least 15 to 30 seconds. But again, even if you can do 5 seconds, that's better than nothing. And then finally, which is really nice and easy at the end of the day, do a really nice big yawn. And you can also do a stifled yawn. And what these do is they really open the back of the throat. So again, do as many yawns as you need to. So I'm just going through each exercise so you can see what to do. So the third part of the cool down is a voice release. And what I'm going to say here is it depends on what you've been doing with your voice, will depend on how you approach this and what you actually choose to focus on. So for example, if you've been speaking all day and you've been in your speaking range, we want to actually stretch the vocal folds out of that sort of lower sort of pressed configuration. So what we want to do therefore is maybe start that little bit higher in the voice, a nice gentle siren, and come down. Now I'm going to show you a couple of options. So you can either use a straw, which I love, or I can show you another option in a minute without a straw, but essentially you're going to do the same thing. So you're just going to start in a very comfortable place that's a little bit higher. And you can also do it without the straw, so you can just do it on a So you're starting higher and you're coming back down, starting higher, coming back down. Now, conversely, if you're a singer and you've been singing high in your voice all night, let's say you've been in a choir rehearsal and you've been singing for hours as a soprano, you might want to start lower. So we're just sort of counteracting the effects of where the voice has been. So if it's been in a higher configuration, we want to kind of cool down and get it into that lower configuration. So you might be more like a and again, you might also want to do that on a hum if you don't have a straw. So you're starting lower and going higher. If you're a speaker, you're starting higher and coming lower. So you're just doing the opposite to basically where your voice has been for most of the day. So finally, just to get the voice back in balance with speech, I'd just like you to say a really nice, comfortable mum, mum. And you're going to linger on the M. And the reason you're going to linger on the M is so that you feel that vibration at the front of your mouth. Mum, mum. And then you can just say mum, 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 mum. Mum, 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 mum. And what the mum does is it just brings the voice forward, it takes the pressure away from the throat, and it just helps to sort of rebalance the voice. So you can do that. Again, spend as much time on this as possible. If you are, for example, a singer and you've been doing a lot of singing, you might want to spend a lot longer on this, and you might want to start low and spend a bit more time high and just move around the voice a little bit more, but really just do what you need for your voice depending on where you've been and what you've been doing during the day. Now the final part is part 4, and this may or may not be relevant to many of you. It is hydration, and without stating the obvious, the voice loves to be hydrated, so that can include drinking water, but also if your voice is feeling particularly fatigued, particularly kind of a bit tired, you feel like your speaking voice is a bit croaky, I highly recommend steaming your voice, which is really, really beautiful. And you don't necessarily need an actual steamer. You can just get literally a bowl of boiling water, put your head over the bowl, put a towel over your head, and just inhale the steam for a few minutes. And it really is so therapeutic for the voice. This is particularly good if you're someone that is perhaps speaking at high demands, 5 days a week, and you just find that your voice tends to fatigue. Particularly good for teachers, actually. They are a group of people that do get a lot of vocal fatigue. So hydration is brilliant. So I hope that that's helped. There's quite a bit here and you can sort of take whatever you need, but please feel free to ask me any questions if anything doesn't make sense, or you want me to share some other exercises if you want to try anything else. So until the next video, I will see you soon.